Cecil J. Williams, a photographer, author, inventor, and publisher. Hailing from Orangeburg, South Carolina, his most prominent work features crucial historical events during the Civil Rights era, using photography to capture and document these experiences, many of which began in his home state of South Carolina. Events such as the Brown versus Board of Education, formerly initiated by the Briggs versus Elliott case, and the Orangeburg Massacre that resulted from desegregation protests. Today, February 8th, marks the 57th anniversary of that tragedy. More details will be discussed on this topic later. At 9 years old, Cecil received his very first camera, the Kodak Baby Brownie, as a hand-me-down from his older brother. He fell in love with photography, practicing the craft in every way he could growing up. As he developed his passion as a hobby, he began turning it into a lucrative profession. His first paid gig was photographing a wedding when he was 11 years old. When entering high school at 14, he became one of 25 photographers to freelance for Jet magazine. One of his photos of Coretta Scott King speaking during a protest was featured on the cover. Although photography was a passion for Cecil, he had a career goal in obtaining a degree in architecture. His exceptional skills in graphic design and art inspired his drive to pursue that endeavor. However, due to racism and segregation, he was forbidden from studying at Clemson University, which during that time was the designated university for architect professionals. Despite this pathway block, he demonstrated and showcased his abilities, designing a home interior concept called Space Age Home, which was featured in the Ebony magazine, June 1977. In regard to his talents as an inventor, in 2015, he created the Film Toaster. This is a camera scanning platform that digitizes film negatives efficiently. Currently, he is continuing to develop and expand the official Cecil Williams, South Carolina Civil Rights Museum, located in his hometown, Orangeburg. The walk-in exhibit features significant historical gems, documenting the Civil Rights era, including his up-close, powerful photographs from these critical events. The Orangeburg Massacre was the earliest tragedy in our history involving police brutality resulting in fatalities during a college campus protest against segregation. 9 highway patrolmen and a city officer fired their weapons on a crowd of black students during a protest. 28 people were injured and 3 died. The victims who lost their lives were 3 young black men, Sam Hammond, Henry Smith, and Delano Middleton. The backstory. Students from Claflin University, South Carolina State College, and Wilkinson High joined together in protest against segregation at the All-Star Bowling Alley. Days prior to the protest, other student activists had been unjustly arrested during a sit-in at the bowling alley. On the night of February 8th, the students created a bonfire in front of the South Carolina State College campus. Police arrived to control and intimidate the protesters. In an attempt to extinguish the fire, Students retaliated by throwing debris and rocks, including one student who launched a wooden banister which struck a police officer. This resulted in the remaining agitated police to open fire onto the crowd of students. After the horrific events of that night, the following day, Cecil Williams arrived at the campus site to discover leftover shotgun shells at the scene. He collected a few of them and photographed them. Although some were turned into the police, he kept a few, which are now archived in his exhibit at the museum. Look at this image here. I'm going to share at the end the background of the story behind this photo. But what I want to talk about is how it makes me feel when I look at it. And rather intentionally or unintentionally, what I love about this image of Cecil here is he was an early pioneer of that strength, that silent, bold strength that some of our Black men have. Some of my favorite Black men embody this. It's an essence of power, but there's a stoicism. I honor these type of brothers, the ones who sort of allow for their actions to speak. They don't have to say much. You can see the fire behind their eyes. Powerful photo. Powerful photo of just basically saying, you know, screw your rules, because the rules are unjust. And these rules are not rooted in any actual merit. They don't have any real purpose. They're just arbitrary. And they're hateful. And yeah, I love that. Cecil has so much to lose in that moment. So much that could have happened. So many different directions that this could have went. And I'm thankful that he was able to capture this moment and get home safely. But still making a really powerful statement that transcends time when you look back on it. Very iconic photo. But yeah, it's his eyes, you know. Behind the eyes is this fire, this power, this sort of determined energy of, you know, I'm here and I'm present, and I don't care how you feel about it. I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if it offends you. I don't care if a mob of people attack me for this. I'm here. I'm present. And I'm unafraid. The fearlessness in his face is actually very sexy. And yeah, I just feel like that is an element of what I believe exists in some of our most strongest brothers out here. You take a look at the modern day Black men who are doing powerful work, which I can't wait to highlight on this channel. There's so many bright lights that are not celebrated or not very well known, not as popular. Those men, they have that Cecil energy. And I look forward to showcasing them here on this channel. Thank you for taking the time to join me in honoring Cecil J. Williams, his museum, and also commemorating the Orangeburg Massacre. Please take time to dig deeper into the research. I will provide sources for you at the end of the video to learn more about Cecil Williams Museum. I will post his website. I will also post content where you can find him and follow his journey and all of the wonderful, empowering things he's done for our history. And let's continue to honor our forefathers and mothers, our leaders, our elders who paved the way for all of us to be able to continue to push forward as we are, continue to liberate ourselves through education and through honoring our history. Happy Black History Month, and thank you for watching.
The Orangeburg Massacre still has scarred my life, and I felt so much about it. And since I was involved in a way with it, being the photographer of South Carolina State University at the time, and picking up the shells that were found, that I found on the ground, that to commemorate that event, I hold it in high reverence. That an image that I created, I did a painting of it, which I put in the living room of my home. I want to remember those times. I want to remember those dates, even though they were days of tragedy, and an event that happened that took the lives of many students, and many of them acquaintances of mine who I knew, who I photographed on the campus, photographed on the football team. It still leaves a scar in my mind and in my heart.